Hello and welcome to Squidly Bits, our second channel where we teach you guys the bestest of the best tips and tricks you can ever imagine. And today I'll be showing you how to paint the dankest of memesters, the sexiest of chaos dudes, but most importantly, the Lords of Night themselves. So let's get at it. To paint these awesome looking Lords of Night, we're gonna have to paint a turquoise blue rich armor, a pale vampiric looking skin tone, and some awesome looking copper trims. And in order to do so, we're gonna break down this video into 3 parts. But before we get to painting, did you guys know that in every single video we release on this channel and on the main channel as well, we only use the paints in our freaking paint set to make it as easy as possible for you guys to follow what I'm doing here, what Emil is doing there. Everything is included. Get them now, and now we can start painting. Chapter 1, painting the skin. Whenever I'm painting these pale skin tones, I like to use the following paints: burnt red, skin tone, and light flesh. And trust me, I'm gonna show you some secret tips later in this video about getting that nice skin tone to really marry better than ever before with the turquoise armor. Begin by mixing the burnt red and skin tone about 50-50. Then we cover the entire skin areas using this mixture. Then by gradually adding more and more skin tone to the mix, we can start building up the highlights. Making sure to connect the highlights so that we don't get random islands of highlights, but instead look like actual skin stretched over all of the muscles. Then if we wish to add some more oomph to the skin, we can add a tiny, whiny bit of light flesh to some of the topmost raised areas of the skin. For example, closer up to the shoulder, on the big brachialis muscle, and some random bits and pieces here and there that you want to put more focus on. It's now time for the secret that I was teasing you guys about earlier, and this is that we're gonna use the airbrush and some magenta ink to add some really cool areas in the skin. This magenta tone will tie perfectly and complement the turquoise armor so well that everyone will look at your meanies and wonder if you're a god or just simply the best painter to ever walk the face of the earth. Unless it's fucking you, Steve! I know what you're doing right now. You're like, oh, I don't need... Fuck off. Next up will be to paint the awesome looking lightning bolt filled armor that's so iconic to the Lords of Night, and the paints you'll need are the following: dark sea blue, blue green, ice yellow, and snake green. And what I like to do here is start by base coating the entire armor using dark sea blue. Then by mixing blue-green and dark sea blue about 50-50, we can start by mapping out all of the highlights. I'm applying these highlights in the mindset of painting a reflective surface, just like doing it when you're painting NMM. And also making sure that I only add the paints to a small enough area of the panels. Because if we want room for the lightning bolts in the future, we're gonna need the space. Then we add a final highlight to the armor using pure blue-green and making sure to only paint inside the previous highlights, meaning that we add the highlight on a smaller surface for each layer. And once the armor is all painted up, it's time to bring out the fine-tipped brush and we can start painting some lightning bolts. And what I like to do here is I dilute the blue-green paint until we almost reach a glaze consistency. And then using a loose grip of my paintbrush and allowing my hands to purposefully shake ever so slightly, I start drawing the shape of the lightning bolts going from the top of the panel down. And while I paint lightning bolts on the entire surface of the armor, let me talk about this week's sponsor, the awesome Millennium Wars Volume 2 miniatures made by DakkaDakka. DakkaDakka.store is a team of passionate creators who create 3D printable alternative miniatures and terrain for tabletop wargaming. Millennium Wars Volume 2 is a project with over 150 alternative miniature STLs for wargaming. They all come pre-supported and are easily printed on pretty much any home 3D printer out on the market. There are several different kinds of models in the campaign, such as 5 build kits, 20 pre-assembled models, 5 hero models, 2 Primarch-sized models, and 2 awesome-looking Dread. The campaign launched on February 25th, and if you order in the first 7 days of the campaign, you can get a full project set for a 20% discount. That means just a smashing low $39. Just make sure to head over to the Kickstarter, check it out before the campaign ends on March 13th, link in the video description. And now, let's get back to painting their awesome looking mini. Now that we've added all of the lightning bolts to the armor, we can bring out the blue, green and ice yellow and mix them to about 50-50. And using this mixture, we can add this as a core to the center of all of the lightning bolts to make them look even cooler. Once we feel satisfied with the lightning bolt, it's once again time to bring out the airbrush. Then by using snake green and shooting this in all of the shadow areas of the armor, we can bring it in and make it really freaking fantastic. And make sure not to overdo this step, it's really easy to fuck up all those beautiful lightning bolts that you've added. Chapter 3. Painting copper trims. It honestly feels a little bit saddening in the little heart of me that we're already in the last and final chapter of the video. That just means that we gotta make this one the best one yet. So with that said, it's time to bring out burnt red, sunny skin tone and hot orange. Using the burnt red, we base coat all of the areas that we intend on being copper. Then by gradually adding sunny skin tone to the burnt red, we can add the highlights and the reflections of the metal. Once we've reached pure sunny skin tone, we can glaze some of that hot orange on some of the reflections like this, and it will really make these minis look awesome. And if you want a deeper dive in exactly how we place the reflections and paint these copper trims and copper armor and NMM in general, we've made this video specifically targeting how we tackle bigger copper armors. Make sure to check it out. Now it's just time for me to finish off some of the smaller details of the miniature, and once that's done, I think it's time for a grand reveal. I gotta say, the team at DakkaDakka really did a great job designing all of these awesome looking miniatures. I feel like they've hit the perfect level of being great for paint, but still look like true Chaos worshippers. Make sure to not miss their campaign that ends on March 13th, link is in the video description. And if you want to watch these videos a week in advance, make sure to head over to our Patreon. Not only will you support us and make sure that we can do this full time for a living, but you will also get to be part of a great community of awesome people who are just the best. And you also get to watch these videos. So with that said, have a great day. Bye bye!